At the high school reunion, my fiancé's ex-boyfriend, Silas Thorne, had returned to the States. All night, his gaze barely drifted from my fiancée, Clara Vance. His look was deep, affectionate, and almost obsessive, sparking whispers among our former classmates. 8 years later, and they still look like the perfect power couple. The impact of the one that got away is like a nuclear bomb. Some opportunists just swooped in and tore those soulmates apart. You don't know until you compare. The difference between the genuine article and the knockoff is staggering. At that moment, my wife, Clara, CEO of a publicly traded conglomerate, was eating her dinner calmly, as if the gossip swirling around the room had nothing to do with her. I poked her gently and smiled. "Honey, I don't think our classmates realize who your actual husband is." Clara looked up, but her eyes went straight to Silas. Her expression was complicated, a mix of resentment, lingering pain, and something else. Across the table, Silas's eyes were red-rimmed as he locked gazes with her. What a stunning pair of tragic lovers. My heart felt like it had been carved out with a knife. Clara and I had gone to the same university after high school. She was the one who pursued me. Clara and Silas had been sweethearts in high school, but Silas broke up with her right after graduation to study abroad. I was the one who helped her through her darkest depression. 2 months later, she confessed her feelings to me. Initially, I didn't love her. I just liked her enough and felt the duty to help a fellow student in a strange city, so I agreed. I remember how she smiled like a little girl then, telling me, "I finally got what I wished for," and I became the man walking by her side. Over 4 years of college, I fell in love with her back. Then, our romance was the talk of the campus, the envy of everyone. 4 or 5 years post-graduation, we fought side by side in the business world and were inseparable in our personal lives. Yet now, watching them stare at each other, I began to doubt everything about the last 5 years. Their silence lasted a suffocating 20 seconds. The entire private room went deathly quiet, everyone's eyes glued to us. Just as I was about to snap, Clara let out a laugh. She spoke in a leisurely tone, not loud but clear enough for everyone to hear. "Aside from Silas, I assume everyone sitting here actually came to celebrate my wedding to Arthur, right?" It was a breezy comment, but it made a lot of faces turn red. Silas hadn't expected Clara to humiliate him in front of everyone after so many years. Embarrassment, shame, and disbelief flickered across his face. Moments later, he left the room without a word. Clara turned to me with a smile, her eyes filled only with gentle affection. "Honey, were you jealous just now?" She pouted slightly. "Do you not trust me, or do you just have no confidence in yourself?" Her teasing tone made the previous tension seem like nothing. Looking into her loving eyes, I felt a wave of relief. Suddenly, I felt guilty for letting my trust in her waver. While I was still lost in thought, crash, Clara smashed her ceramic bowl onto the table. Shards flew everywhere, cutting a few people who couldn't dodge in time. "Did I give you all too much credit, running your mouths about my husband?" The faces of the loudest gossipers turned pale. "Ms. Vance, we were just—" Clara cut them off. "I don't give a damn about your explanations. You know you screwed up, so why aren't you apologizing?" Was this the gentle, soft-spoken Clara I knew? In all our years, I'd never heard her curse. Even when furious at the company, she never dropped an F-bomb. Her voice was cold, devoid of warmth, brooking no argument. Seeing this, my gaze turned icy as I looked at the crowd. They were genuinely scared. One by one, they stood up, raising their glasses with trembling hands, bowing and scraping to apologize to me. Clara wrapped her arm around my waist and planted a fierce kiss on my lips. "How was that?" I kissed her back. "Hot as hell." Clara blushed instantly and punched my chest lightly. "You're annoying." Her actions had saved my face completely, cementing my status. I usually hated reunions and never attended them. If Clara hadn't wanted to see old friends and check if anyone needed a helping hand, we wouldn't have come. I never expected this outcome. Because of the incident, the mood was killed and everyone dispersed quickly. On the drive home, we sat in the back of the town car, cuddling. Our family always said we were like conjoined twins whenever we weren't working. Screech, crunch. A sudden, violent braking threw us forward. The inertia was massive, but thankfully we were buckled in. My reflexes were always fast. In that split second, I shielded Clara. My head slammed hard into the front seat, then whipped back. My mind went blank for a second, and the impact sent a dull, indescribable pain through my internal organs. Cold sweat broke out instantly, not just from the hit, but from fear for Clara. "Arthur, are you okay?" Seeing my pain, Clara asked frantically. "I'm fine. Just give me a second," I managed to say, then turned to the driver. "Riley, what happened?" Our driver was a woman, my younger cousin, Riley Sterling. Don't underestimate her. She was ex-Special Forces, medically discharged after seeing real combat. She insisted on being my driver at a family gathering, claiming her gender was a camouflage that let her better protect weak little me. Which was ironic since my family, the Sterlings, is a martial family with a lineage of combat training. I might keep a low profile, but I was actually the most skilled in the family's combat arts of my generation. Ancestor after ancestor, regardless of gender, we trained from childhood. "Arthur, it's Silas," Riley said, her voice tight. Head-to-head with us was a BMW 740. If Riley hadn't reacted so fast, at that speed, people in both cars would be dead or crippled. I frowned, wondering what Silas's objective was. Clara frowned too, her eyes locked coldly on the car opposite us. But then, I saw a pained, conflicted expression on her face, and the anxiety from the reunion crept back into my heart. Was she worried about Silas? Was the fact that she didn't get out to check on him only because I was here? Why that conflicted look? Was it heartache, concern, or fear that I would retaliate? The questions flooded my mind. My heart grew heavy, my expression serious. "Why are you assuming the worst again?" She pinched my cheek playfully. I never realized a Sterling was such a jealous pot. Her words stunned me. Right, why was I so tense today? Was I really just jealous because of Silas? The first love, the ex, the one who got away, that was bullshit. I was the one with the ring. I was the legitimate partner. "Honey, should I have Riley go handle him? Or should we just call the cops?" Damn, her thought process threw me off again. Seeing her so open and unbothered, I sighed. "You should decide. I think you need to get out, go check on him, and make things clear. The way he's acting, he won't give up until he sees you." Hearing this, a look of disgust crossed Clara's face. I have nothing to say to him. It ended 5 years ago, and that high school romance was just holding hands. How deep could the feelings be? Oh, someone seemed heartbroken for a long time back then. Gross. Despite her words, she got out of the car. "Riley, keep watch. Make sure he doesn't try anything desperate." "Got it, Arthur." I doubt he's that stupid, though. Riley opened her door gently, but didn't exit fully, keeping one foot on the pavement, ready to launch into action. Under the streetlights in front of the car, Silas was pulling at Clara. She kept stepping back. Their mouths were moving. It looked like Silas was begging for something. Even though I told her to go, a vague unhappiness settled in my gut. Just as I was zoning out, my phone rang. It was my father. "Arthur, when are you coming home? You've played around long enough, haven't you?" I subconsciously gripped the phone tighter. I hadn't been back to the family estate in 3 years. My father was getting old, supporting the massive family empire alone. He'd let me be free all these years rather than forcing me to take over early. He also protected my identity well. Outside the family and top executives, few knew I was the heir to the Sterling dynasty. I was the only son. My parents poured everything into me. When I wanted to marry Clara, they weren't thrilled, but they supported me. They investigated her and knew about the childhood sweetheart ex, worrying she couldn't let go of Silas, but I insisted, so they agreed. They knew my temper. Once I made a choice, I stuck to it. However, my father set a condition. He gave me 3 years to help Clara take her company public, and Clara had to agree to share her assets with me unconditionally. If we achieved that, the family would fully accept the marriage and stop interfering. If I couldn't do it, I'd have to obediently accept the family's arranged marriage. The 3 years weren't up yet, but I had already completed the assignment my father gave me. I had always been full of confidence, certain I had pulled it off without a hitch. But man plans and God laughs. Tonight's reunion and the crash had shaken me twice. I felt unsettled, like I'd been shot with an arrow. "Dad?" Just as I was about to answer him, Clara got back in the car. Slam. She shut the door violently. The talk obviously hadn't gone well. Riley had gotten out when I took the call, but now she was back in the driver's seat. Clara said furiously, "That man is infuriating. Riley, drive us home. If he blocks us again, ram him." Riley glanced back at me. I nodded. She hung up the phone for me. Riley revved the engine, swerved around Silas, and drove forward. We were silent the whole way. I didn't ask what happened, and she didn't speak until we arrived. For a while after that, life returned to its busy, calm rhythm. 2 weeks later, Clara dragged me to the mall. I had just come out of a fitting room when I saw Silas pulling at Clara again, shamelessly harassing her. Clara, I know I was wrong. Please, for the sake of our childhood bond, give me one more chance, okay? His tone was groveling and pathetic. Clara looked impatient and yanked her hand away. When she saw me come out, she ran over and hid behind me. I looked at the two of them and smiled helplessly. Clara, go pay for the clothes and wait in the car. I'll chat with him. I looked at Silas, whose face had turned an ugly shade of gray. Let's find a place to talk. The mall stairwell was usually empty except for people sneaking a smoke. Without Clara there, Silas's humble act vanished. He walked up to me, eyes glaring viciously. Arthur Sterling, you think you're so special? Clara will only ever be mine. We grew up together. We have a foundation of love. I will win. Suddenly, I found this man hilarious. Silas, some people might actually believe you broke up with Clara to study abroad, but I know a little more than them. You dumped her because you found someone else. Now that you cheated on that girl abroad and couldn't hack it there, you had to crawl back. You see, Clara is successful now, rich and beautiful, and you have a history, so you're stalking her. Do you really think these tactics work? Don't you think you're being pathetic? So what? Even if I didn't want her, she wouldn't settle for you. Silas looked like a street thug now, a rogue sparking a nameless fire in my gut. Clara might think I had a good temper because I loved her and never got angry, always staying civilized, but my enemies would say I was lethal. Silas, you're digging your own grave. I didn't hold back, engaging in a war of words. The smokers nearby were already starting to watch the drama. I decided I didn't want to waste time with this trash. It was better to go back and hold Clara. I turned to leave. Suddenly, thud. He grunted and, with a comical motion, threw himself against the wall. He slid down slowly, his face scraped up and bleeding from the rough friction against the concrete. It happened so fast. The bystanders swarmed over. Silas was rolling on the ground, clutching his face in agony, pulling a move straight out of professional soccer. I didn't want to be a homewrecker. I didn't want to ruin your marriage. It hurts. Please don't hit me anymore. Because my back had blocked the view of the crowd when I turned, his painful accusation, combined with the blood on his face, instantly won their sympathy. Everyone turned to look at me, some with disdain, some with confusion, some just enjoying the show. You readers, tell me, is this funny or what? Using self-harm to frame me. TSK, TSK, TSK. Another guy who can't control his wife, taking his anger out on others. He said he wasn't trying to start trouble. He'd have to beat him that hard? Probably a psycho-control freak who can't handle his wife talking to another man. Save your breath, I saw it. The guy walked away and the other dude slammed himself into the wall. Poor kid, sigh. Out of a dozen people, 1 or 2 actually saw the truth and spoke up for me. But what use was that? I was genuinely pissed now. I already found him annoying, and now this. My rage was boiling over. I was about to actually hit him when I saw Clara running toward us. Seeing her, I unclenched my fist. Clara, I tried to explain, but she cut me off. Arthur, I told you the only person I love in this life is you. Why won't you trust me? You said you just talked to him. So why did you get physical? You hurt him this badly. What the hell? I was defenseless, staring at her blankly. Are you going to start swinging your fists at me next? My mind went blank. Clara's mouth was moving, but I couldn't hear the words. I looked at her in disbelief. The person I'd lived with for 5 years, who told me, I love you, every day, wasn't listening to me or trying to figure out the truth. Instead, she immediately launched into a tirade. I wasn't some tragic martyr. Recovering, I looked coldly at the 2 clowns performing in front of me. After scolding me, Clara went over to carefully help Silas up, examining his wounds with tender concern. She completely ignored my existence. Under the gaze of the crowd, she supported Silas and walked right past me, leaving me there alone to be pointed at. Suddenly, I noticed a surveillance camera in the corner of the stairwell, pointing right at us. I went to the mall security and got the footage. I wasn't going to take the fall for something I didn't do. I ate dinner alone. Clara had taken the car, and I didn't call Riley. I walked home to clear my head. It took 3 hours. I stood at the door, hesitating to open it. Maybe the old man was right to give me 3 years to fall on my face. I opened the door. Inside, Silas was wearing the pajamas Clara had just bought for me that afternoon. He was sitting on the sofa, leaning into Clara's embrace, sobbing like a child. Clara was gently patting his back, whispering comforts. Hearing the door, they both looked at me. Clara looked slightly panicked. Guilty conscience, maybe? During the 3-hour walk, I had thought a lot and understood a lot. Once I let go, nothing mattered anymore. Arthur, I looked at her, waiting to see what she would say. Silas got blood on his clothes, so I washed them. He's wearing yours for now. Since you're the one who hurt him this afternoon, I'll buy you new ones tomorrow. I gave a cold, sing-less-syllable response. What is wrong with you? You beat someone up, and this is your attitude? No apology? Who are you giving that face to? Her voice grew louder and harsher. She had never treated me like this. It seemed my gut feeling today was right. Bullshit. I'm telling you I didn't touch him, not a hair on his head. Believe what you want. He hurt himself to frame me. I roared the words. In all our years together, it was the first time I'd raised my voice like that. My eyes were stinging with tears. She had disappointed me so deeply. Clara looked at me with equal disappointment. Arthur, when did you become like this? You're acting like a psychopath. If you have a problem, take it out on me. Don't hurt innocent people. Her words were like daggers, each one stabbing me. It hurt. 3 years of high school, 5 years together, 8 years. How many 8 years does a life have? Does she not know me at all? I wanted to give her one last chance. Do you know the facts? Shouldn't you listen to my explanation? Were you there? Did you see it? You come in, curse me out, and sentence me immediately. Isn't what I said the truth? Who in their right mind would brutalize themselves just to frame someone? Hearing that, I didn't want to talk anymore. Reasoning with someone whose brain is compromised is psychological masochism. Although a pity play works on idiots, I honestly don't care. I walked toward the study to pack. I make room for them. We could settle the score later. Clara had never been to my real home. Aside from Riley, she had never met anyone in my family. She only knew Riley as an employee I hired. I sent Riley a text. Riley, come pick me up. I finished the call in front of them, glanced at them once. Silas started his green tea routine. Clara, don't fight with Mr. Sterling because of me. I don't want to ruin your relationship. I'll leave right now. Don't go. I've been too good to him. I've spoiled him. Listening to them, I chuckled. So you guys are the saints and I'm the villain? Fuck off. Arthur, go to your room. We'll talk later. Without waiting for my answer, she helped Silas away. I pushed open the study door and started packing my documents and valuables. There wasn't much to pack. A backpack was enough. The biggest item was my 14-inch laptop. While that adulterous pair was in the guest room, I slipped into the master bedroom. It didn't take long. I dumped all my IDs and valuables into the bag. Clothes. I didn't know if they'd been touched, and I felt they were dirty, so I left them. The clothes on my back were enough. I'd buy more later. I waited in the master bedroom for 3 hours. It was past 2 a.m., and she hadn't come back. I guess she was keeping him company in bed. I walked out of the home I had lived in for 2 years. I closed the door gently and stared at it for a few seconds. No reluctance. My family taught us from childhood to be decisive. As an adult, I'd always made decisions that way. Thank God for the old man's condition. Otherwise, I'd be a divorcee. A breakup is cleaner than a divorce. I got into the car and took out my phone. I sent a message to my dad. Dad, you and Mom were right. I'm coming home tomorrow. Watching the home shrink in the rearview mirror, I thought about how I expected to live a happy life there with Clara. I returned to the luxury condo my mom had bought me. Riley stayed in this building when she came to the city for work. The girl kept the place tidy and clean. I sat on the sofa. Riley poured me a cup of tea and sat opposite me. Arthur, is it what you said in the car? You gave everything for Clara, and now she treats you like this? Leaving her is the right move. What about the company? What is there to handle? I don't have shares, no employment contract. I just walk away. Tomorrow we go home. Okay, I'm gonna sleep. I drank the tea and took a hot shower. Today had mentally exhausted me. Damn it. I looked at myself in the mirror and cursed. Arthur, why were you so stupid? I'll be smarter after a good sleep, haha. I laughed at myself loudly. Knock, knock. Riley was at the door. Arthur, you okay? I'm fine, Riley. Go to sleep. I'm good. I lay on the bed and fell asleep instantly. I really had worn myself out. Hello, big brother. Riley, why are you calling me in the middle of the night? Is it an emergency? A groggy voice came from the other end. Brother, Arthur got bullied today. Riley explains everything. We Sterlings can't take this kind of disrespect. The voice on the other end sharpened instantly. Riley, I got it. Keep an eye on Arthur. It's not the right time for us to intervene yet. Once we're sure he has no feelings left for Clara, we strike. How dare they bully a Sterling? The Sterling siblings were tight-knit and fiercely loyal. The next morning, I ate breakfast and sat there in a daze, waiting for time to pass. My flight was in the afternoon. I didn't need to investigate anything. The security footage was enough. I wasn't in a rush to clear my name. Honestly, it didn't matter that much anymore. I kept the video just to prevent them from slandering me later. Maybe someone else filmed it, too. If it ended up online, that would save me even more trouble. My phone rang with the special ringtone I set for Clara. She must be angry. Yes, she should be. Before I slept last night, I texted her 2 words. We're done. She probably just saw it. Arthur, what do you mean sending a breakup text? Is this a game? You didn't sleep at home last night. You hurt Silas and left without a word. What kind of trick is this? I found her hilarious. Did you graduate elementary school? You don't understand what we're done means. I shifted on the sofa, getting comfortable for the verbal spar. I'm tired of playing along with you for so many years. I'm breaking up to make room for you too. Why did I sleep here? My fiancé brings another man home, stays in a room with him until past midnight. Was I supposed to stand guard outside? You're cute. You can have the house. I'm giving it to you. Riley and I aren't coming to the company anymore. We never signed contracts, so we're free to go. You never gave me shares. Just treat my work for the last few years as a gift from heaven or something you found on the street. Anyway, we are finished. A shrill scream pierced the speaker. Stop making a scene. I can explain last night. Come back right now, and I can still forgive you. I listened to that domineering tone. She had never used it on me before. Clara, do you realize how much you've changed since you saw Silas? Think about it. Whatever happens between you and that trash, I don't care. She screamed at me from the other end. Are you crazy? Do you know how hard it was for us to get here? I calmly replied with one word. Moron. Then I hung up. Of course I hung up after I said my piece. If I let her talk, I'd just get annoyed. That evening, I arrived home at the estate. The old man was waiting for my return. He looked at me, asked nothing, and just said kindly, "Good to have you back." Mom was different. She and my aunts were busy preparing massive tables of food. By dinner, everyone was back, the main line of the family all present. Grandfather spoke first, then Grandma. Feeling the warmth of my family, I teared up. My siblings all knew what happened. Their eyes were murderous. I knew that once I gave the word, the Vance and Thorne families would be annihilated. I heard my younger brother and sister whispering about investigating Silas's background. The next day, I followed the old man's arrangement. I went to work at the Sterling Group. He told me to start from the bottom, a trial by fire as a regular employee. He said only by knowing the foundation could I understand the company. I put on a suit and obediently became a corporate drone. I was assigned to the planning department. As soon as I arrived, I was pulled into training. As luck would have it, the very first project partner was Clara's company, the Vance Group. I tried to find excuses to dodge it, but the manager refused. I was honored to be the assistant for the project. I couldn't blame him. Hardly anyone knew about my situation. Arthur, as a new hire, you have a lot to learn. Watch more, listen more, speak less. Take good notes during this collaboration. It will be good for you. What could I do? I didn't have a choice. Arriving at the Vance Group, some people stared at me wide-eyed. Those who knew me nodded in greeting. Clara welcomed us with a radiant smile. It seemed my absence hadn't affected her much. Welcome, team leader Susan. She shook hands warmly. Welcome. When she reached for the second hand and felt a familiarity, she looked up and saw me. She froze like a statue. The smile was stuck on her face. She was shocked, but she recovered quickly, continuing to shake hands with colleagues and introducing the project. Throughout the process, I acted like a rookie, doing my job seriously. Until the end. She walked us out. Coincidentally, everyone else got in the car first. I was last. Clara grabbed me, so I had to signal the others to leave without me. Clara dragged me to her office, glaring at me furiously. Arthur, that's enough. Did you come here today just to spy on the project and sabotage the deal? Is it necessary to use business as revenge? I looked at her arrogant face. It was funny. I'd never seen this side of her before. If she knew the company she was desperate to partner with was mine, and that I could kill this deal with a single sentence, I wondered what expression she'd wear. For my amusement, I finally realized how fake, cold, and promiscuous this woman was. I kept a professional tone. Ms. Vance, I think you misunderstand. I'm here for work. I have professional ethics. I told you before, we're done. I didn't want to see you either. This is business. I had no choice. She stared at me for a few seconds, then laughed. Ha ha ha. You're killing me. Don't you think you're a joke? You were second in command here, and now you left me to be a low-level clerk? Isn't that pathetic? I'm telling you clearly, if you come back now, I can overlook the past. Wait too long, and I won't want you anymore. I really wanted to slap her, but I held back. Thanks, Ms. Vance, but I'm doing great. No thanks. You don't need to act charitable. It's comical. Aside from work, we have no relationship. Please don't flatter yourself. I turned to leave. The door opened from the outside. Clara. It was Silas, carrying a takeout bag, bringing her lunch. Seeing me, he sneered with triumph and a hint of provocation. Long time no see, Mr. Sterling. Join us for a bite. Hey, no thanks. I prefer to eat clean food. I implied they were dirty. Clara's face went black. She pulled Silas close, hugging him tight. She turned her head to me. Arthur, you act like an incompetent, bitter housewife. You should learn from Silas. You really can't compare to him. Was she trying to provoke me? When I loved you, you could control my emotions. Now that I don't, you're like dog shit on the sidewalk. I just step around you. Seeing no reaction from me, she dragged Silas away. I left immediately. This was the third time she tried to humiliate me for Silas. Just wait. You're going to suffer, and I hope you don't come begging. I returned to the company and went straight to the chairman's office to find the old man. Dad, I need some firepower. The old man looked at me, questioning. I explained that back in my freshman year, I had started an investment firm called Apex Capital with a few classmates. For years, because of the 3-year target, I stayed by Clara's side to help her. I handled the general direction while my classmates ran operations. I introduced my company to my father. It wasn't public, but its strength was doubled. Out of the Vance Group, I asked my father for some decision-making power within the Sterling Group. He also gave me a significant amount of capital. I instructed Jasmine King, the president of Apex Capital, to approach Clara for financing. I knew she needed huge funds for the collaboration with Sterling Group. Her company's cash flow wasn't enough. It was the perfect time to send Jasmine in and dig a pit. A month later, Jasmine told me the contract was live. Apex Capital invested $2 billion into Vance Group. Clara must double the company's value within 3 years. If not, her shares in Vance Group would transfer to Apex. Clara had secured the Sterling partnership. As long as that project went well, doubling assets wouldn't be a problem. It seemed like an easy win to meet the valuation adjustment mechanism agreement. Clara hesitated but eventually agreed after a shareholder meeting. They saw it as an opportunity. The only risk was the Sterling partnership, and they assessed that risk as low. Luckily, I had kept a card up my sleeve and never told Clara about Apex Capital. Otherwise, where would I find such a perfect knife? I prepared methodically. I don't know where Clara heard about the agreement between me and my dad, but she started calling incessantly. I finally picked up, annoyed. Arthur, you're impressive. You hit it so well. What did I hide? I just found out about your deal with your father. You used me as a bargaining chip. Did you ever love me all those years? Her tone softened. Did you love me? Can't you feel it? What do you mean, two-timing? I'm out of a threesome. State your business. I really regret being with you. I should have waited for Silas. You can't compare to him. Oh, I never tried to compare. He's not worthy. I hung up. It felt good to hang up on her first. Through this training period, my father gradually handed over power to me, and I took the seat of president. I was in a high position, but I remained low-key. Nearly a year after the breakup, I followed my family's arrangement to marry Sophia Hart, the daughter of another powerful dynasty, the Hart family. It wasn't entirely a cold political marriage. Sophia was smart and beautiful. It was love at first sight for me as we got to know each other. It turned out she liked me too, a mutual attraction. Within 2 months, we got our marriage license, skipping the engagement. We invited both sets of parents to dinner at a hotel. Only when they met did they realize we had brought the elders together. They had their suspicions, but they never guessed the truth. When we walked in hand, and slapped the marriage certificate on the table. Everyone was dumbfounded. After a long pause, applause erupted. The cheers of our generation filled the room. Our parents cried tears of joy. It was rare for everyone to be together. We took a family photo, just the direct lineage, a few dozen people. I told my wife about my past. It broke her heart. We didn't publicize the marriage loudly, but the inner circles knew. During this time, I got calls from Clara. Aside from bragging, she wanted me to come back and be her corporate slave. We met again to negotiate the second half of the project. This time, she didn't expect me to show up as the president of Sterling Group. The welcome ceremony was far grander than before. Seeing the scene, I wanted to have some fun. I told the negotiation team that the president was my wife, Sophia, and I would appear as her assistant. Halfway through the meeting, we broke for lunch. While I was outside getting fresh air, Clara walked up to me, unable to suppress her grin. "Do you regret leaving me? After this deal, Vance Group will be in the Fortune 500. You already finished your agreement with your dad, so why leave me? Just apologize and come back, and I'll forgive you." Looking at her smug face, I gave a sincere smile. "First, congratulations, Ms. Vance. Second, I wish you and that trash eternal happiness. May you live together and die in the same grave so you don't plague anyone else." I walked into the private dining room. She stood there stunned, unable to react. She probably thought her success would make me change my mind. She never imagined I was already married, and even if I wasn't, I wouldn't touch her again. Being married to her meant constantly checking for a green hat, terrifying. She thought Vance Group's success was due to her ability. If I hadn't been there, would those major clients have worked with her? Since I left, no one was there to check her. She became risky and arrogant. The afternoon negotiation went smoothly. Playing on her recklessness, I gave her a bigger piece of the cake. She expanded the Vance operation several times over instantly. On the surface, it looked beautiful, stock prices hitting the limit daily, but the foundation was shaking and the debt ratio was skyrocketing. She was walking step by step into the abyss I designed. Novels where people go bankrupt in minutes are fake. This takes time. 1 year later, Clara's company had expanded to an unprecedented peak, which was also the start of the collapse. Clara and Silas were getting engaged. They specifically invited me. On the night of the engagement party, my wife and I attended together. I also saw my older brother and the others there, which confused me. Since when did they interact with the Vances? Clara and Silas were like proud swans, heads held high, moving through the crowd. Silas walked up to me with the air of a master, showing off Clara's engagement gift. "Arthur, what do you think of the car?" "A multi-million-dollar sports car. A gift from Clara." Show off. A classic nouveau riche move. I raised my glass sincerely. "Congratulations." My polite smile made him feel like he punched cotton. Silas stared at me in disbelief. He thought he could trigger me, make me explode, and embarrass myself. The party was lively, mostly business people, feeling a bit like a trade show. Clara, as the host and star, went on stage to speak, radiating success. The usual 3 introductions. Thanks, and painting a picture of the future. The guests applauded politely. Then she invited Jasmine King to the stage as the biggest investor and representative of the largest shareholder besides Clara. Jasmine took the mic. Applause. Everyone expected congratulations. Unexpectedly, Jasmine walked up and plugged in a USB drive. It played on the big screen. The content, evidence of Vance Group's financial fraud. Every embezzled fund transaction was displayed clearly, ironclad proof. Then a man walked up with a folder. "I am Carter Brooks, legal counsel for Apex Capital. Due to Ms. Clara Vance's misappropriation of funds and financial fabrication, violating the investment agreement and constituting fraud per the contract, Ms. Vance's shares now belong to Apex Capital. Please transfer the shares immediately." The trap had sprung. "I'll let you swell, let you stand at the peak, just to make the fall harder. I am the Reaper." The crowd was stunned. Clara collapsed onto the floor. Her face was pale, eyes lifeless. This was supposed to be the highlight of her life. She never imagined it would be her own sentencing hearing. She gathered her strength and screamed, "This is fake. You forged this. You're committing a crime." Her pathetic state was captured by reporters and phones. Tomorrow she'd be a laughingstock. A group of officers in blue uniforms pushed through the doors, walking toward Clara. "Ms. Vance, we're old acquaintances. You know why we're here. Please come with us." As a prominent local business, tax and commerce bureaus usually treated her with respect, but now Clara swayed like a drunkard. When Jasmine released the evidence, all her strength vanished. Just then, my older brother walked onto the stage and spoke into the mic. "Excuse me, everyone, listen to me for a moment." The room went silent. "I have some data for you to see as well." He waved his hand, and a professional woman played the content. Silas, seeing the first item, collapsed on the floor, muttering, "Impossible. This is impossible." The audience realized Silas was finished too. But the Thorne family was big. Maybe they could survive. Next, people from the Sterling family took the stage one by one, targeting the Vance and Thorne family enterprises. A family isn't just one company, it's a network. But the Sterlings were different. On the surface, we had one group. In reality, every direct descendant controlled a massive corporate entity. Bodies were practically littering the floor of the venue. I didn't expect my brother and the others to join the slaughter. Facing 7 or 8 behemoths, the Vance and Thorne families had no chance. Finally, a stunning beauty stood on stage. "Ms. Vance, do you know what you missed out on?" I knew that tone. Something big was coming. "You can't guess, right?" "Oh, by the way, let me introduce myself. Arthur Sterling is my husband." Critical hit 1. Apex Capital belongs to Arthur. Critical hit. The Hart Group belongs to me. Critical hit 3. Combining these, everyone in the room understood. No wonder the Hart Group struck the hardest earlier. They were husband and wife. Next, please watch the big screen. The screen showed the surveillance footage of Silas hitting the wall himself. Critical hit 4. Clara, let me tell you, every group represented on this stage belongs to our Sterling family. Is that a big enough surprise? You ignore the banquet to chew on tree bark. Are your teeth that good? Or are you just suicidal? My wife leaned into Clara's ear and whispered, "If this were ancient times, the Sterling family would have exterminated your entire bloodline. Lucky for you it's modern times, or none of you would survive." Clara screamed in terror. "You are a bunch of lunatics." "Ha, the Sterlings are the crazy ones. I'm actually quite gentle." I had to admit my wife was an expert at psychological destruction. Psychology degree coming in handy. "Arthur, why are you doing this to me?" "No reason. I'm not bored enough to play games with you. I just did it for closure." I couldn't swallow the insult from back then. I walked over slowly, looking down at her. "You haven't forgotten, have you? One minute you claimed to love me. The next minute you accused me, framed me, and abandoned me for that piece of trash. Where did you place me? You remember what you promised me. If you didn't love me, we could have just separated. But without my consent, you brought that dog into my home, let him wear my clothes, use my things, and sleep with my fiancée. Later, you embezzled the money I invested to buy him things and mocked me for being useless. Fuck you. Did I force you to do any of that? I'm telling you, if it wasn't for me, that broken company you inherited would have gone bankrupt years ago. Blame me? Do you have the right? Even after we broke up, I gave you projects and capital, and look what you did. It's not that I'm nothing without you. It's that you are nothing without me. With the resources I gave you, a pig could have succeeded if it didn't self-destruct. I'm done." I took my wife's hand and left the banquet. Clara went to prison for massive financial fraud and embezzlement. Silas was taken in for investigation as an accomplice. They found even bigger problems with him, and he was sentenced to 30 years. That night, I became a legend. Once the news got out, Apex Capital's operation became a classic case study in the investment world. Story complete.